right, welcome friends. Welcome to our meditation time. Wherever you are, just get comfortable. Just allow your eyes to close or allow your gaze to soften and just really arrive into this present moment. Just honor the showing up. You've already physically done it, and so now mentally and energetically allow yourself to do it as well. Showing up to the presence of this next breath in, and then just watch as the moment ends and the breath goes out. And then again, all your attention on this next breath in, and then gently watch it as it passes by and you exhale. And just check in with yourself. See how you feel today. See what all you've brought to this meditation space where you are, to this present moment. And realize that how you have shown up is just right. There's a concept in Sanskrit that has lots of different meanings. And sometimes this word is used and it's very literal. And other times it's used and it's all about a lesson. And so the word is Maya. And today, in these words that Patanjali has given us in the Yoga Sutra 419, he's not talking about Maya in the literal sense. He's trying to teach us something. And so what I'd like for you to do is each of us in our own space, think about something that you have tried in your past. Maybe it was a food, maybe it was an experience, some type of activity, and you did not like it. So you ate that food, you were willing to try it, and it did not taste good. Or you tried that activity at the request of your friends or whoever you were with, and you realized that it's not something that you want to do again. So just recall what that might be. Maybe it was recently, maybe it was a long time ago. Well, Patanjali teaches us in this 4th chapter of the 19th Sutra, he teaches us about Maya. And that Maya's focus when it comes to our practice, our ability to connect to the consciousness that we're trying to really cultivate within, is that Maya wants to deceive us. And so if you think about this thing that you've done before, you've tasted or you've tried, the role of Maya with that thing would be that it comes across your path again. You go to a dinner party, someone serves the same food, you go out with some friends and they're doing that same activity or whatever the thing was, it crosses your path again. And Maya, this concept in Sanskrit, makes us believe that it really wasn't so bad, and so let's just try it again. And so we do. We try it again and we realize we still don't like the taste of it, or we still don't like the activity or the thing. We still don't like whatever that thing was. It doesn't fit. And so it goes. And what Patanjali would tell you is that Maya, this idea of deception to our consciousness, keeps chipping away, trying to convince you that something is true, or that you need to do something, or that you need to feel something or react in a certain way, no matter how much it is that you don't want to. And so what Maya does is keeps pushing and pushing until eventually you don't give in anymore. And then Maya grows quiet. And so just think about that. Have you had things in your life where you thought you'd kind of put it to rest and you knew you didn't want that to be part of your life anymore, even if it wasn't a bad thing? It's just something that was in the past and you want to leave it in the past. And then here it comes. And you have two choices. Recommit to leaving it in the past, or decide that all that time you've spent having it in the past, maybe Maybe it's different this time. Maybe you're different. And when we think about this in relation to something so innocent as something that we've eaten or some activity, some extracurricular thing, there's probably not a lot of harm associated with those. And those are not usually the ones that Maya really spends time on. It's the things that we've stopped doing as we move along the spiritual path. We've made a decision that as I've learned things about myself in meditation, or as I learn things about myself as I read these spiritual texts, or as I'm sitting on my mat, or I'm in nature in quiet reflection, I'm learning things about myself. And there are habits that I want to stop doing because I want to keep cultivating this sense of quiet, this sense of pure consciousness that I know is available. But what happens, Patanjali says, is Maya, this concept that's connected to our psyche, to our behaviors, to our conditioned ways of being, it's going to check and see if you really are serious. And I'm sure that all the great psychologists would have lots of words to connect and describe this, but the Sanskrit word from thousands of years ago, the simple term of Maya, tells us that it's going to keep poking, testing the integrity of your choices and your decisions until it realizes that you're not going back. Until it realizes you're not going back. And then that thing that was so hard to let go of, that habit, that way of thinking, that way of being, you've set it aside enough times that it really is set aside. And Maya, this temptation, this prod of our psyche, this checking of our willpower, it goes on about its way. And so maybe some of you have already experienced that. You've been on the spiritual path, you've been cultivating a meditation practice, you show up on your yoga mat, you read the texts that you know are going to continue to teach you and build you up, restore you, empower you. And along the way, you've made choices about things. Have you noticed that those things come up again and again? And were there times that it was really hard to resist them? And then were there times that it was not hard at all? That is what Patanjali would tell us is us overcoming this deceptive power of Maya. Sometimes we think we're just not strong enough. We start to doubt our commitments. We doubt our wisdom. We doubt our purpose. But that's exactly what this concept of Maya wants us to do. And so what I'd like for us to do is we're going to pause and we're going to just get quiet. And for each of us, I would encourage you, think of one thing about yourself that has shifted since you started along this path. Whether it was through a meditation practice or through some training experience or through a text that you read or through a teacher that you've sat with and you've studied with. What about you has changed? What behavior, what habit, what way of responding to things in the world looks different now? It may still have some rough edges and it may still be a work in progress, but what looks different? And what I would invite us to do as we sit in the quiet is just nurture that. Affirm yourself for making decisions that align with the pure consciousness that exists within each of us. Be proud of yourself for making decisions that are good for you here in this present moment as well as in your future. Be grateful for the fact that you were willing to let things go that either no longer served your purpose or were completely misaligned to it. And so as we pause here, I already know what the thing is for myself, and I would imagine that you each have something, maybe a few somethings. And usually sometimes when we get quiet in meditation, it's about the contemplation of the hard thing. Let's sit with the hard thing. But today, let's sit with the affirmation. Sit with the affirmation of how far you have come and how much your daily commitment is lessening the power of that deceptive Maya that is in all of our lives. So just grow quiet here, affirming yourself, being grateful for you as you continue to breathe. Bring awareness back to that next breath coming in. And let that be a breath of gratitude and affirmation for where you are on this path. We're so quick to judge ourselves and to be critical, but let's be just as quick to affirm and to be grateful. And as we get ready to close our practice, I want to give you a visual to take with you in the coming days, because we have a way of seeing Maya visibly in this image that so many of us see on a regular basis. And it's the image of the symbol of Om. And in that symbol of Om, you've got this, almost looks like a 3 with a little swoosh on it, and that represents us, all the parts of us. The fully awake, engaged in the world parts, the dreaming parts, the deep sleep, still, restorative parts. All the parts of our consciousness unified when all of those little circles come together as one. And then you have that little dot that sits right up to the upper right side, and that is the connection to Source, which we then learn over time is truly within us. This higher consciousness, this pure light, this transcendent way of being, it exists within us. But between that little shape of the backward 3 with the swoosh and that little dot, there's a little line. And that little line is there to make us think that we don't have access to the higher consciousness. We don't have access to the transcendent way of being. We don't have access to the light. That little line is Maya. And so as you see the symbol Om in the coming days, I encourage you that as you look at it, affirm yourself again. Affirm how far you have come. It's not about mastering something. It's not about counting days and hours of meditation. It is about affirming that the habits and the ways of being before I ever engage in this practice are not the same habits and ways of being that I engage in now. Be proud of that. Affirm it. And when you see that symbol of Om, remind yourself, not only do you have the access, but you are doing things every day in your life to keep that as your focus, not those deceptive things that just keep coming across our path. And so let's close it out with just one Om, just as our vibrational reminder of we truly do have everything that we need within us. We just can't get distracted by those deceptive illusions. We need to keep pushing them away, and eventually each one will grow quiet. So if you want to join me where you are welcome to do that, or just let mine just hold space through these airwaves. But just take a deep breath in. Affirm yourself for how far you've come. Affirm yourself for where you are now. And each time you do, Maya loses a little bit of power and a little bit of influence in your life. Namaste.